Create new supplier records. From the navigation bar, select Suppliers, then from the main toolbar, pick New. The supplier record opens with several options displayed in the left-hand panel. Let's start with the Details tab. This tab has sections to enter the supplier's account details, registered address, and contact information. Supplier records can be quickly created by entering data in only the account reference box. Care should be taken when creating account references, as these can't be changed afterwards. To do this, simply enter up to 8 alphanumeric characters in the account reference box. Using a combination of letters and numbers offers more options than using letters alone. For example, if you have several suppliers with the name Smith, you could use account references Smith 001, Smith 002, Smith 003, etc. Once you've entered a unique account reference, click out of the box. A new account label appears here. To save the record, click Save. Let's create another supplier record, this time with more information. Enter a unique supplier account reference here. Then enter the name of the supplier or company here. You can enter up to 60 alphanumeric characters. Manually enter a company registration number if required. Alternatively, click here to search for the company details in Company's House. Once you've found the correct company, select it, then click Confirm Company. The company name, registration number, and registered address will be updated on the record. Any additional addresses for your supplier can be entered by clicking Addresses and Contacts, then New. If the supplier is registered for VAT or EORI, manually enter these numbers in the relevant boxes. Manually enter any contact information you hold for the supplier in the Contact Information, Social Media, and Email Settings and Addresses sections. If you plan to communicate with the supplier by email, select this checkbox. Let's move on to the Defaults tab. This tab has sections to assign custom fields, discounting, and miscellaneous defaults. Some of these sections already contain data. This data has been pulled through from Settings, Supplier Defaults, to save you adding this manually. The data can be changed if required. The Custom Fields section offers 6 analysis fields to help identify supplier types for reporting and analysis. The fields are labeled Analysis 1 to 6 by default. To help you use these fields more effectively, the labels can be changed by clicking Settings, Configuration Editor, Custom Fields. The Discounting section enables you to specify a discount percentage to apply to any items purchased from the supplier. The Miscellaneous Defaults section allows you to enter default values on a supplier record, which are picked up automatically as you process transactions, saving you time when entering information. For example, select the default nominal code and tax code you'd like to use when creating batch invoices from the supplier. If you are using Sage 50 Accounts Professional, and you'd also like to use these same defaults when creating purchase orders, select these checkboxes. The currency field will be read-only, unless you are using the Foreign Trader module, which enables supplier records to be created with a different currency. To assign a supplier record to a specific department, click the drop-down and select the department required. To manage departments, from the navigation bar, select Departments. A reporting password can be added to the record as a security measure when emailing documents to the supplier as a PDF. This can be up to 30 alphanumeric characters. If you're trading internationally, the Incoterms you've agreed with your supplier can be recorded by clicking the drop-down and selecting the nature of the terms agreed. Moving on to the Credit Control tab. Here, you can record credit control information to help you manage the supplier account, such as terms, restrictions, and credit review notes. The Terms section may already contain data. This data has been pulled through from Settings, Configuration, Terms, to save you adding this manually. The data can be changed if required. Enter the credit limit set by your supplier here. If your supplier offers an early settlement discount, add the early settlement discount percentage here and enter the number of days, the discount that applies here. Enter the number of days after which an invoice is classed as overdue in the Payment Due box. Payment due from. Select the required payment term for your supplier. For example, is the invoice due for payment within 30 days after the invoice date, or 30 days after the first of the following month? Enter any trading terms agreed with your supplier here. You have up to 30 alphanumeric characters. Credit reference. Enter the supplier's credit reference if required. You can use this information to check the supplier's credit status. From the drop-down list, select the supplier's credit bureau if required. Bureau details can be managed from Settings, Internet Resources, Credit Info. To treat this supplier as a priority when managing payments, select this checkbox. To change a supplier's credit position, from the drop-down list, select the required position. To change a supplier's account status, from the drop-down list, select the required status. For example, you may use this feature to put a supplier account on hold. If your supplier has a 9-digit DUNS number, it can be manually entered here. The options available to the Restrictions section are as follows. Can charge credit. Select this checkbox if your supplier charges you interest for late payments. Terms agreed. If you've agreed credit terms with a supplier, select this checkbox. Account on hold. The Account on hold box is populated depending upon the account status selected and is therefore not available to select. You can record details of any credit review completed for the supplier in the Credit Review section. Account opened. By default, this will show the date the supplier record was created in Sage 50 accounts, but this can be changed if it's different to the date you started trading with the supplier. Last credit review. Select the date you last reviewed the supplier's credit details. Next credit review. Select the date of the next proposed credit review. Application date. Select the date you applied for credit. Date received is the date you received credit. Any further details can be entered in the free text memo box. Finally, let's look at the Bank tab. In here, you can enter the supplier bank details and payment details, meaning all information is to hand if you need to process a payment. Most of the information is for reference only and is not used automatically when processing transactions. Manually enter the supplier's bank name and address here, and their bank account details, such as account name, sort code, and account number here. Enter any further bank information you hold for the supplier in the Payment Details section. You can specify how you pay your supplier by clicking on the Payment Method drop-down and selecting the required payment method. You can enter up to an additional 5 user-defined payment methods. By default, these are listed as user-defined 1 to 5 in the list. To customize these payment methods, click the ellipse to the right of the box and amend the labels accordingly. If they are to be treated as online payments, select this checkbox. Click OK once you're done. The new label will appear in the list. If you deal with a supplier electronically, select this checkbox. Once you're happy with the data entered in the supplier record, to save the details, click Save. The supplier record will clear, allowing you to continue creating more supplier records as needed. To return to the Suppliers module, click Close. Any records you've created will appear in the supplier list. You have now learned how to add supplier records using the new option.